Are virtual learning grades an accurate indication of student success? What happens when kids return to in-person learning and the rigor changes again? Will your child be overwhelmed with the increase in demand and workload to accomplish the same goal? Grade inflation is a real problem, especially for kids on IEPs and 504s. You've probably noticed your child's grades are good despite your daily struggles and your child's daily struggles, and you might be wondering why. The answer is grade inflation. Students are given points for simply logging on, and standards are significantly watered down due to virtual learning. But now, on the flip side, your child may be failing when they had passing grades before school closure. Today, I'll be sharing with you 3 steps that you can take to hold your school district accountable to ensure your child's grades are an accurate reflection of academic progress. So be sure to like and share this video so we can reach as many parents as we can across the nation who are also looking for help on this subject. And also be sure to leave your comments below if you're concerned about your child's grades since the pandemic began. And at the end of this live, I'm going to be sharing with you how you can work more closely with me if you'd like to get more individualized information about your child's IEP or 504. So as an advocate, I've represented many students that are either receiving inflated grades or are failing their classes. Both situations are hurting your child's education. If your child is receiving inflated grades, they will take a deep dive in grades when they return to school and when the standardized curriculum will be put back in place when school buildings reopen. If your child is failing right now, it's most likely affecting their self-esteem. And if they are in high school, they are at risk of jeopardizing their ability to graduate with a high school diploma because they're going to be missing credits if they're failing in virtual schooling. Inaccurate grades are a huge concern, and it's important that you know the steps to take to hold your teachers accountable to the grades that they are giving when school is closed during the pandemic. So if your child is experiencing inflated grades or failing grades, this video is for you today. So let's talk about inflated grades first. So teachers are giving inflated grades to cover themselves for failing to teach online. This is the situation and has been since March when schools closed. Your child is most likely receiving points for simply logging on, even if they don't pay any attention to the lesson or to the teacher teaching. They don't have to be on video. All they have to do is log on. They don't have to ask questions. They don't have to engage in the class. They will get points for simply logging on. Teachers are accommodating the typical work completion requirements because of virtual schooling. So in other words, they are lessening the workload that is typically required during the regular school year when school buildings are open. And most teachers are doing this. Even general education teachers that have nothing to do with the IEP are lessening the workload that is typically required when we have a regular school year. Typical requirements have been watered down, and live teaching has also been cut in half, and in some cases reduced by 80 to 90%. So right now the situation is our kids are predominantly in an independent study situation. Now, I'm not saying all teachers are doing this, but a huge majority of teachers have reduced the live academic instruction in half, and some up to 80 to 90%, so let me explain what that means. I'm talking about the fact that we are in a minimum day now in the virtual schooling model. They've cut that day in half already. So now the synchronous and asynchronous requirements have allowed teachers to not have to teach an entire class of live instruction. It allows them to get on maybe for 10, 15 minutes, say hi to the kids, give them the lesson, and tell them the assignments, what they're expected to do. And then they log off and then they say, okay, go now and work independently, kiddos. And that's happening across the nation. It's happening all the time. It's happening in high school. It's happening in every school. So that is putting our child in a situation where they are basically in an independent study program. And most kids on IEPs and many on 504s do not do well with independent study. So now let's talk about failing grades. So teachers are failing students without even contacting the parents or even contacting the student to solve the problem and to help the student. Most of the time, it's because the student can't keep up with the technology requirements to access the classes and the assignments online. So let me give you an example. So I have a client, and back when the grades came out at the end of the year, the parent found out that her son was failing all of his classes in high school. And I think he had a D minus, one or two D minuses, and all the rest fails. So, of course, she was shocked and appalled because he doesn't typically fail. And this is happening to students everywhere in virtual schooling. Kids that don't typically get failing grades or are typically fairly strong students are failing now. And so she called me, and, in a panic, we immediately called an IEP meeting. And we developed a plan with the teachers to make up the work that he had missed, all the work that he had missed, and to retake the tests that he either failed or didn't take at all. And we accommodated the workload because it was the end of the school year and he had like 25, 30 assignments that he hadn't done. So we worked with the teachers and said, what are the most important assignments that would show that he's learned the concepts, and to cut down the assignments that would he wouldn't be able to, feasibly complete in that short a period of time. So we accommodated the workload. And we also worked with the teachers to help him to become more organized with the assignments for all of his 6 classes, 7 classes, whatever it was, and with the technology. Because the problem was that he couldn't organize himself and keep up with the technology that's required of high school students when they have all of these teachers, even junior high students. And each teacher has a different login. They might even use a different platform. Then the teachers have different places to go as well to access curriculum, to look at books, to get assignments. There's so many different technology requirements that are necessary for kids to be successful in the virtual schooling model. Many kids are failing just because they can't access it because of the technology. And so the teachers aren't even contacting parents or contacting the kids. So this kid hadn't logged on one single time in like 4 of his classes. Never logged on, never did one assignment. And we're at the half midpoint of the half year, and he's getting all F's, and we didn't find out until the grade cards were coming out. So that's how insufficient this system is that we're looking at here today. But the good news is that after we had the IEP meeting, once he got the help he needed, he is now passing all of his classes because we got him the support he needed. We problem solved and we figured out what was wrong. We worked with the teachers and we had it written in the IEP. So now I'm going to give you the 3 points to what you should do, whether your child is failing classes right now or whether you suspect your child is receiving inflated grades. Because I know lots of kiddos that they're getting, oh, my child's getting straight A's right now. This is wonderful. I'm so happy. They're doing great in virtual education. Well, that's probably not the case. They're receiving inflated grades, especially if your child isn't typically a straight A student. Okay, so the first step is you're going to ask for your child's cumulative file. Your cumulative file is your child's student records, school records. So you are going to make this request in writing, Okay, and all you have to do is look up online the template to what how to write a request for records. They're all over the place online. And so you would copy that template. You're going to make your request in writing for your child's cumulative file. And then you're going to find out what the timeline in your state is to receive that cumulative file. So in California, it's 5 calendar days. And in other states, it could be up to 45 calendar days. So you're going to want to make sure you are aware of how long it should take for you to receive your child's cumulative file. And then districts can charge you a fee for your cumulative file, but they cannot charge you a fee if that would place a financial hardship or burden upon a parent. The district cannot require you to pay a fee, but no charge can be charged to you for just for retrieving or searching for your child's records. Okay, but they can charge you for a hard copy. Okay, so you're going to get your child's cumulative file. Now, why do you want that? Because you want to look at all of your child's past assessments. You're going to have all of their IEPs. You should be putting that into a binder. You should have all that information about your child's school, about their records, about their attendance, about their grades, about everything. You should have a copy of your child's file, okay? Because that's going to set you up to be more informed about how to advocate for your child. Number two, you're going to request an academic achievement standardized test. Now, why do you want to do that? Because this is a standardized test that either a teacher or a psychologist must conduct for your child, and it's only for academic areas of all areas of academics this standardized testing covers. Now, this is a component of a psychoeducational assessment that is done for a child on an IEP every 3 years, but you're not going to be asking for the full psychoeducational assessment. You're only asking for an academic achievement standardized test. And why do you want that? Because that's going to really show you where your child is academically in all areas of learning. And so you're going to make also, again, you're going to make a request in writing. You're going to find the template online to request an assessment. And you're going to find that on writing, the template. And then in California, after you make your request in writing, within 15 days, you should receive the assessment plan from the school district that you must sign, because you must authorize the school district to conduct an assessment for your child. And the assessment plan is going to say that they're going to conduct an academic achievement test for your child. And then within 60 days after you sign that assessment plan, they have only 60 days to conduct the assessment and then hold an IEP meeting before the 60th calendar day after you sign your assessment plan. Then at that IEP meeting, you're going to discuss the findings of that assessment. Now, I'm going to give you some typical names of academic achievement standardized tests that the psychs and teachers typically use, but they might use another test. But this is just for your information. The Gray Oral Reading Test, or the GORT, the G-O-R-T, Gray Oral Reading Test. The Woodcock-Johnson is very typical. The Wessler Individual Achievement Test, which is also called the Wyatt, the W-I-A-T. Those are some of the very typical tests that are used for an academic achievement test. So point number 3 is you're going to request an IEP meeting. Now, before your IEP meeting, you're also going to request that your teachers provide work samples, data collection, informal tests, and quizzes to share at the meeting, because you want to review the grades, your child's grades at your IEP meeting, right? We're talking about grades, so you're going to want to review those grades. Now, a great grade, they have to, just like how they have to show evidence to substantiate progress on goals, they must show evidence to substantiate why they're handing out these grades. So if your child's grades are inflated, show us how your child earned an A. If your child is getting an F, Then they must show you what all the missing assignments, what grades did they get, what they did turn in, so that you can understand the grade that is being given. Okay, so you're going to alert them before the meeting that you are requesting that all the teachers bring their grade book and bring all of your kiddos supporting evidence to show, to substantiate that grade. You're also going to request that the teachers review their class requirements and their grading system. How do they grade? What is their syllabus for their class? What are their requirements for their class? So you can understand what your child's expected to do in each particular class. And then you're also going to request a list of missing assignments. If your child's failing, you want to know what missing assignments are they missing. How much can we, if your child's on an IEP, it's okay to cut down the workload. They're in, especially if they're in a general education class, your child doesn't have to be held responsible to complete everything that a general ed student must be required to complete because your child's on an IEP. So you can accommodate curriculum if that is something your child needs. And you can absolutely ask for that, and it should be an accommodation if your child needs that. So you're going to talk about the missing assignments, and you're going to develop a plan to make up the work or retake the tests and quizzes that they might have failed. So you're also going to request a system be developed to keep your child organized with the work requirements, the assignments, the tests, and the technology class links. So you're going to want to have a schedule for your student with each class and the links that they are expected to use for each class, for each teacher. And that should be a visual schedule that's right next to your child every day as they're going through their virtual day. And you can request that the teachers make up that for you. You shouldn't be responsible to do that. The teacher should assist your student, or the teacher should provide a list like that for your child on an IEP or a 504. So if you are, if you'd like more information, parents, about any of this subject that I've been talking about today, please join my special education Facebook group. It's called the Special Education Parent Empowerment Network. You can also go to my website, advocatesforangels.com, where I have a blog there, and I have lots and lots of information on there about all things IEP and 504. And I also have a monthly parent membership where you can work very closely with me through that parent membership, and you can find that information also on my website. So having your child receive accurate grades that reflect their grade level academic achievement is so very important. Don't allow your teachers to get away with grade inflation or failing your child just because we're in a virtual learning model today. Teachers are responsible to teach our children. The general education grade level curriculum and school closure is not an excuse for teachers not to do their jobs. Today, I've given you 3 steps to address your child's inaccurate grades. These are the steps that I use when parents hire me to speak on behalf of them as their advocates. These are the same steps I use. Request your child's cumulative file, request an academic achievement test, and call an IEP meeting to review the grades and hold the teachers accountable. We're living in a time when levels of stress and anxiety are so overwhelming for us and for our kiddos. Celebrate your child's academic successes, no matter how big or small, because that is going to help them with their self-esteem and their mental health. Hold your IEP team accountable and don't allow them to make COVID an excuse to fail to teach your child. Don't feel bad or intimidated because you're questioning your IEP team and you want to hold them accountable to not providing inflated grades or to failing your child. It is your right as a parent. It is your under your parent rights and under IDEA for you to work with your IEP team and be a collaborative member of that team and hold them accountable to serving your child on an IEP. I've seen a huge improvement in all of my clients' virtual learning successes, their grades, and their mental health when parents have taken these steps that I've given to you today. So parents, I hope this was beneficial and valuable for you, this information today. I'm Valerie Aprahamian, the IEP Navigator, and I coach, teach, and train parents across the nation so they can receive the IEP and special education program their child needs to thrive, both in school and in life after high school. And I hope to see you next Monday at 10 a.m. Pacific time for the next Advocates for Angels Facebook Live. Thanks, everyone. Take care and God bless.